Hey everybody, guess what? Rob and Marvy, we are in Utah right now, just a little bit north of St. George. We had come from Seattle where we were at Amazon, and now we are headed south to Las Vegas to do some things and some business, some doctor stuff, and then heading south for the winter. So the big question is, I thought you guys were, going to work at Amazon. Well, we did, and that's going to be kind of an update on the video. I lasted about a total of 1 day. And so let me kind of share our experience with that. First of all, how do we make money on the road? And the way we do that is I collect my Social Security, which isn't a lot, but it's, if we had to survive on it, we could. But I also teach English. I teach English on Skype, and I've done that for about 7 years, and that supplements our income modestly. And I just kind of wanted to get away from that. And Marvy's not working, so we thought, boy, we could make a lot of money in a short period of time by working at this work camping, which most people do when they're on the road that don't have a good retirement plan and income. So we checked it out, and we did the application, we did the drug testing and all of that, and then we went to work. So before I really get into maybe some of the negative things, I really want to say that work camping, there's a great website called WorkCamp, WorkCamping. I think it's com or org. I'll put the link up here. They kind of match people who live full-time on the road with people who are looking to hire people on the road. Most of these jobs are seasonal, but there are some year-round, and one of them, one of the ones we applied to was, of course, Amazon. You've seen it if you've seen Nomad land, things like that. And there are a lot of people that really enjoy it. It's very, very hard work, but they enjoy it. It's a lot of money. They do well. They don't mind working graveyard shifts, things like that. So for what they say they do and what they expect, they do deliver on that. So that's all well and good. So what we did was we applied, and we did the drug testing and all of that. The communication is horrible with work camping. There's no kind of letting you know the plan and everything like that. There's a Facebook channel where you kind of have to go, that's not associated with Amazon Camp, the Camperforce. They call it Camperforce. But there is a Facebook channel, kind of a support group run by people who work there, who have had worked there in the past. And that's where you kind of find out a lot of the information. But anyway, we did everything, and then we were supposed to start on a Wednesday at 6:30. And many people say there's a ramp up where you do 4 hours the first night, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. Again, it does vary dramatically from one warehouse to another. But we showed up at 6:30 along with 3 other people, and nobody knew what was going on in the admin, and nobody communicated. We were in Kent, Washington, and no one really knew what was going on. No one really expected us, any of that. So they were told us to come back with the regular new hires at 8 o'clock. So that's what we did. We stood in a line outside, and they scanned our cards, and one woman, they pulled out a line of the 5 of us. She said, they set her aside, and we all went in, and we never saw her again. So I don't know whatever happened to her. But then we went upstairs to a training room, and I was a corporate trainer for a while, and for 15 years I trained a lot of people, and I've been trained on how to train. And this is probably one of the absolute worst training sessions I had been to. It was what we call death by PowerPoint, with just like a couple hours of one PowerPoint slide after another full of text, and the person just read everything with their mask on and a muffled voice and didn't really understand any of it. And you know, I asked her at one point, how long were we going to be there, and she didn't really know. She goes, just till we're done. So there was no agenda or anything. And but that's okay. So anyway, we went home after that, went back to the van, and they said come back the next day. We came back and we actually started working, and they told us there was no ramp up time. And so we just started working and doing the training and all of that, and that was the last day that we worked there. So to go into a little bit of a detail, the staff there was great. Most of the people that were kind of in a management and training position have been there for less than a year. Even the trainer had been in that position less than a year. And I really think it's because Amazon's growing so big, especially with COVID and ordering online, that they just can't keep people. You know, they work people really, really hard. There's an incredibly high turnover rate, and that's why people in management positions have been there for less than a year or two, and I don't think they've been trained very well. But the people on the floor that are the managers that trained Marvy and I, they were great. They were really nice and motivated. I mean, there was one that was a little condescending, but other than that, it was fine. So we were in a job called a packer. We weren't picking things off a shelf, and there was no walking at this warehouse. It's all automated with the robots that bring it to the people who pick the products. They put different things in big plastic bins, put them on a conveyor belt. They come to us where we stand in one place, and you reach and you scan the whole bin. The computer knows what's in it, and it tells you which items to put in a box, and then you tape it up. It goes to the customer. You put it on the conveyor belt. That was pretty much the job. You have 2 breaks that were 20 minutes each, and then a lunch, half-hour lunch. And so all of that is great, you know, but they do keep track of everything you do and every box you do, and you're expected to do about 110 of these boxes, or there's only one item in the box for the most part where we were at, and they expect you to do about 110 of those boxes an hour. Go figure. But so why didn't it work for us? First of all, Marvy is one tough woman, man. She just did great all night long. For me, I am not a night person. I get up every morning around 4:30 or 5. This morning right now it's not even 8 o'clock, and I'm just top peak of where I'm at. Well, the day we were going to go in, I still thought it might have been a ramp up period, but I didn't get any sleep. I woke up at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I actually was doing very, very well, feeling really strong till about midnight, and then it hit real hard, and we had to keep working hard. I was getting really ill around 2 o'clock in the morning, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, I actually physically vomited into a trash receptacle, and they told me to, they were great. They were like, oh, okay, do you need to see the clinic or the doctor on site? I'm like, no, I'm just, ugh. And they said, that's fine. It's 4 o'clock. You get off at 5. You know, go to the lunchroom, sit down, relax, and when your wife gets off work, you guys can clock out together. So that's what we did. Then when we went to the van and tried to sleep, Jackson was waking us up around 9 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of started to realize right then, man, you know, Jackson is in a small van. He's got so much energy. I don't know if the night shift would even work, because I wouldn't be able to really go back to sleep, and I've got to do this again the next night, and I'm just not a night person. And then I looked on the internet to look at our schedule, because they have an app called A to Z. And it's an Amazon app, and that's where you check all of your hours and everything. One important thing is, if you do anything wrong, you can be, or you will be fired if you have 6 points against you within a 3-month period, which would be the time we worked there. If you're late, more than 5 minutes within the first hour, you get half of a point. If it's more than an hour, you get 1 point. If you leave early without permission, 1 point. Well, when I woke up that morning, I had 2 points against me. So I'm like 1/3 of the way from being fired after I was really ill, and the managers were great, but maybe a breakdown in communication. But given the fact I was really sick, I kind of know I couldn't do all night graveyard shift. Marvy and I decided to give it one more chance, because on the app it says when you go, I want to quit, and you click on it, they say, please don't, we can get another shift position or something for you. So Marvy and I went over to Amazon around 1 in the afternoon and said, look, we can't come into work tonight, we need to go onto a day shift, is that possible? And the HR at the Ken facility was really kind of, no, sorry. I said, well, we're Camperforce. They go, yeah, we know. You're only hired because we want people for midnight or graveyard shift, which was not what we were told through Camperforce. We were led to believe. It was more like, we will find a position, and if you work together, we will put you in that same shift. But if you don't need to do that, we will work with you to get you second shifts. And I think that's a national program for Camperforce. But it's really up to the facility. This facility was having none of it. They said, no, you can hit the road if you want, basically, because you either work graveyard shift or you're gone. We don't need you for day shift. There was no negotiations, no offers. And I said, okay, well, I understand. Then, unfortunately, this won't be a good match for us. How do we sign paperwork? And they go, no, you just go on leave and leave the premises and go to your A to Z app and quit there, and that's fine. So that's what we did. And we just decided that, one reason for living as nomads is that you don't want that stress. You don't want to comply to all of these rules. And I think if you live full-time in a van or an RV and you're a nomad, sometimes you can make those concessions. We thought we could do that. I kept saying to myself, you could do anything for 3 months. Well, at 64, I should have known better that any time I say something like I can do anything for 3 months, or there's nothing I haven't seen that would surprise me, that's when you just get whooped upside the head with something that you didn't expect. I mean, I just finished walking 1,700 miles halfway across the country in snowstorms and all of these things. I think I'm pretty tough. Although one guy on this Facebook channel told me I was weak and a whiner for quitting Amazon. So I guess he didn't know I walked halfway across the country. Anyway, we are so happy with our decision. I'm back teaching now, got more students than ever, and it fills our schedule up for now. We're not making the money we wanted to make. The idea of moving into another vehicle is pretty much out of the question, at least for the immediate future. But we're fine. We had a great trip down through Oregon and Idaho and Utah. It was been pouring rain, so this is the first beautiful sunny day we're waking up to. And we'll be in Vegas this afternoon, take showers, get some stuff done, some shopping done. I'll show you one other thing, or two things. We stopped in Salt Lake City and took Marvy to the Great Salt Lake Antelope Island, I think it's called. And again, it was very cloudy, but beautiful clouds, storm clouds, very cold and windy, but the scenery was magnificent. It's a great place. If you ever get a chance, check it out. And they do have camping there. I think it's like 20 bucks. So it's $10 to get in because it's a state park, and then $20 if you need to camp somewhere. So you may want to check that out. One other thing is we have to go down to Phoenix because I have to go to Santan Solar and get a new panel. I have two of them on my van. I have a 400 watt, which I bought down there last year, a year and a half ago for, I think 200 bucks for a brand new, monocrystalline, really great solar panel. But the other one was the one that I had gotten through Homes on Wheels Alliance, a 230 amp. Thank you very much, Sue-Ann and Bob. And unfortunately, we were in Seattle, or West Seattle, and Marvy and I were in bed, and we heard this kabam! around 11 at night. So we jumped up and we thought somebody might have hit the side of the van with their fist or whatever. Well, what it turns out is somebody must have had a big rock, saw our solar panels, and didn't like where we were parked in the neighborhood, and they must have thrown that rock, the best that I can think of, up high, and it came right down and smashed the solar panel. So didn't see who they were. Of course, you never do, vandals or cowards, and so they took off. So anyway, we're going to have to replace that one with another solar panel and then probably head out into the desert. We've got a couple good friends of ours, Bob and Carol, who were camp hosting outside of Steamboat Springs. And anyway, I think they may be coming out to hang out in the desert with us. So we won't go to Quartzsite probably because I need the internet to teach. So if y'all are going to Quartzsite, probably won't see you there, or Ehrenberg. It's just, we've been there, done all of that. It's a challenge to get decent internet. But just about anywhere where else we're going to be around, we may make it to Craggy Wash. We may make it, we won't go down to, let's just forget that one because I don't remember the name of it. But Craggy Wash we may hit. Certainly there's a lot of places just south of Phoenix on the way to Tucson, and in the Tucson area, some places, if you saw a video last year when it was snowing and in the desert, that was a great place. So we plan on doing that. If we find more interesting places, we'll get a lot more travel videos. So we're back to making travel videos. But thanks for wishing us the best on getting a vehicle and working at Amazon. Just didn't work out for us. And so I think we're just going to be doing what we're doing right now and going back to doing the travel and discussion videos. If there's anything you would like us to talk about or to cover, you know, write it down in the comments below, okay? That's it for now. We will see you guys down the road. Thanks again to our Patreon people. We need you more than ever, man, and we certainly do appreciate your going on to Patreon. The links are below. And thank all of you guys and our loyal followers. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share these videos with other people or tell other folks if they're interested. So we are back on the road, and we will see you down the road. Bye-bye now.